Hello. Today, I'm reading the Articles of Confederation. It's like 9-ish pages. It's gonna be hell, but hey, let's go. Articles of Confederation. Act of Confederation of the United States of America to all to whom these present shall come. We the undersigned delegates of the states fixed to our names send greetings, whereas the delegates of the United States of America in Congress assembled did it on the 15th day of November in the year of our Lord 1777, and in the second year of the independence of America, agreed to certain articles of Confederation and perpetual union between the states of New Hampshire, Massachusetts Bay, Rhode Island, and Providence Plantations, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, and the words following viz. Articles of Confederation. Okay, that's just restating stuff. Article 1. The style, still, I don't know how, I don't speak 1770s words, of this Confederacy shall be the United States of America. Article 2. Each state retains the sovereignty of freedom and independence in every power, jurisdiction, and right which is not by this Confederation expressly delegated to the United States in Congress assembled. Article 3. The said states hereby severally enter into a firm league of friendship with each other from their common defense, the security of their liberties, and their mutual and general welfare, binding themselves to assist each other against all force offered to or attacks made upon them, or any of them, on account of religion, sovereignty, trade, or any other pretense whatever. Article 4. The better to secure and perpetuate mutual friendship and intercourse among the people of the different states in this union, the free inhabitants of each of these states, paupers, uh, vagabonds, and and fugitives from justice expected, shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of free citizens in the several states, and the people of each state shall have free ingress and regress to and from any other state, and shall enjoy therein all the privileges of trade and commerce subject to the same duties, impositions, and restrictions as the inhabitants thereof respectively are provided, that such restrictions shall not extend so far as to prevent the removal of property imported into any state to any other state of which the owner is an inhabitant, provided also that no imposition, duties, or restriction shall be laid by any state on the property of the United States or either of them. If any person guilty of or charged with treason, felony, or other high misdemeanor in any state shall flee from justice and be found in any of the United States, he shall, upon demand of the governor or executive power of the state from which he fled, be delivered up and removed to the state having jurisdiction of his offense. Full faith and credit shall be given in each of these states to the records, acts, and judicial proceedings of the courts and magistrates of every other state. Article 5. For the more convenient management of the general interests of the United States, delegates shall be annually appointed in such manner as the legislator of each state shall direct to me in Congress on the first Monday in November in every year, with a power reserved to each state to recall its delegates or any of them at any time within the year, and to send others in their stead for the remainder of the year. O states shall be um, um, represented in Congress by less than two, nor by more than 7 members, and no person shall be capable of being a delegate for more than 3 years in any term of 6 years, nor shall any person being a delegate be capable of holding any office under the United States for which he or another for his benefit. Okay, I'm recording good. Receives any salary, fees, or emolument of any kind. For each state shall maintain its own delegates in a meeting of the states, and while they act as members of the Committee of the States in determining questions in the United States in Congress assembled, each state shall have 1 vote. Freedom of speech and debate in Congress shall not be impeached or questioned in any court or placed out of Congress, and the members of Congress shall be protected in their persons from arrest and imprisonments during the time of their going to and from and attendance on Congress, except for treason, felony, or breach of the peace. Water. Damn, how many are there? 12? Okay. Article 6. No state without the consent of the United States and Congress assembled shall send any embassy to or receive any embassy from or enter into any conference, agreement, alliance, or treaty with any king, prince, or state. That was a weird noise. Nor shall any person holding any office of profit or trust under the United States or any of them, except of any present emolument, office, or title of any kind, whatever, from any king, prince, or foreign state, nor shall the United States and Congress assembled, or any of them, grant any title of nobility. No 2 or more states shall enter into any treaty, confederation, or alliance, whatever between them, without the consent of the United States and Congress assembled, specifying accurately the purposes for which the same is to be entered into and how long it shall continue. No state shall lay any imposts of duties which may interfere with any stipulations in treaties entered into by the United States and Congress assembled with any king, prince, or state in pursuance of any treaties already proposed by Congress to the courts of France and Spain. No vessels of war shall be kept up in time of peace by any state except such number only as shall be deemed necessary by the United States in Congress assembled for the defense of such state or trade, or shall any body of forces be kept up by any state in time of peace except such number only as in the judgment of the United States in Congress assembled be deemed requisite to garrison the forts necessary for the defense of such state, but every state shall always keep up a well-regulated and disciplined militia sufficiently armed and accoutred, and shall provide and constantly have ready for use in public stores a due number of field pieces and tents and a proper quantity of arms, ammunition, and camp equipage. No state shall engage in any war without the consent of the United States and Congress assembled, unless such state be actually invaded by enemies, or shall have received certain advice of a resolution being formed by some nation of Indians to invade such state, and the danger is so imminent as not to admit of a delay until the United States and Congress assembled can be consulted. Nor shall any state grant commissions to any ships or vessels of war, nor letters of mark or appraisal. Man, these words, I don't know. Except it be after a declaration of war by the United States in Congress assembled, and then only against the kingdom or state and the subjects thereof, against which war has been so declared, and under such regulations as shall be established by the United States in Congress assembled, which, unless such state be infested by pirates, in which case vessels of war may be fitted out for that occasion, and kept so long as the danger shall continue, or until the United States Congress assembled shall determine otherwise. Article 7. When land forces are raised by any state for common defense, officers of or under the rank of colonel shall be appointed by the legislature of each state respectively, by whom such forces shall be raised, or in such manner as such state shall direct, and all vacancies shall be filled up by the state which first made the appointment. Oh, sorry, my was just stuff here. Article 8. All charges of war and all other expenses shall be incurred for the common defense or general welfare, and allowed by the United States and Congress assembled, shall be defrayed out of a common treasury, which shall be supplied by the several states in proportion to the value of all land which each state granted to or surveyed for any person, as such land and the buildings and improvements thereon shall be estimated according to such mode as the United States and Congress assembled shall from time to time direct and appoint. Tax for paying that proportion shall be laid and levied by the authority and direction of the legislators of the several states within the time agreed upon by the United States and Congress assembled. Article 9. Jesus Christ. Alright, Article 9's long. Let's go. Alright. The United States in Congress assembled shall have the sole and exclusive right and power of determining on peace and war, except in the case mentioned in the 6th article of sending and receiving ambassadors, entering into treaties and alliances, provided that no treaty of commerce shall be made whereby the legislative power of the respective states shall be restrained from imposing such imposts and duties on foreigners as their own people are subjected to, or from prohibiting the exportation or importation of any species of goods or commodities or whatsoever, of establishing rules for deciding in all cases what catches on land or water shall be legal, and in what manner prizes taken by land or naval forces in the service of the United States shall be divided or appropriated, of granting letters of marque and reprisal in times of peace, appointing courts for the trial of piracies and felonies committed on the high seas, and establishing courts for receiving and determining finally appeals in all cases of captures, provided that no member of Congress shall be appointed a judge of any of the said courts. The United States and Congress assembled shall also be the last resort on appeal in all disputes and differences now substituting or that hereafter may arise between two or more states concerning boundary, jurisdiction, or any other cause whatsoever, which authority shall always be exercised in the manner following: whenever the legislative or executive authority or lawful agent of any state is in controversy with another, shall present a petition to Congress saying the matter in question and praying for a hearing. Notice thereof shall be given by order of Congress to the legislative or executive authority of the other state in controversy, and a day assigned for the appearance of the parties by their lawful agents, who shall then be directed to appoint by joint consent commissioners or judges to constitute a court for hearing and determining the matter in question. But if they cannot agree, Congress shall name 3 persons out of each of the United States, and from the list of such persons per party shall alternately strike out one. The petitioners of beginning until number shall be reduced to 13, and from that number not less than 7, nor more than 9 names, as Congress shall direct, shall in the presence of Congress be drawn out by lot, and the persons whose names shall be so drawn, or any 5 of them, shall be commissioners or judges to hear and finally determine the controversy. So as a major part of the judges who shall hear the cause shall agree in the determination, and if either party shall neglect to attend at the day appointed without showing reasons which Congress shall judge insufficient, or being present shall refuse to strike, Congress shall proceed to nominate 3 persons out of each state, and the Secretary of Congress shall strike in the behalf of such party absent or I just can't speak. Or refusing, and the judgment and sentence of the court to be appointed in the manner before prescribed shall be final and conclusive. And if any of the parties shall refuse to submit to the authority of such court, or to appear or defend their claim or cause, the court shall nevertheless proceed to pronounce sentence or judgment, which shall in like manner be final and decisive. The judgment or sentence and any and other proceedings being in either case transmitted to Congress and lodged among the acts of Congress for the security of the parties concerned, provided that every commissioner before he sits in judgment shall take an oath to be administered by one of the judges of the Supreme or Superior Court of State, where the cause shall be tried well and truly to hear and determine the matter in question according to the best of his judgment, without favor of affection or hope of reward. Provided also that no state shall be deprived territory for the benefit of the United States. All controversies concerning the private right of soil claimed under different grants of 2 or more states whose jurisdiction as in may respect such lands, and the states which pass such grants are adjusted, said grants or either of them being at the same time claimed to have originated in antecedent to such a settlement or of jurisdiction, shall, on the petition of either party to the Congress of the United States, be finally determined as near as may be in the same manner as is before prescribed for deciding disputes respecting territorial jurisdiction between different states. The United States of America, the United States in Congress assembled, shall also have the sole and exclusive right and power of regulating the alloy and coin and value of coin struck by their own authority or by that of the respective states, fixing the standard of weights and measures throughout the United States, regulating the trade and managing of all affairs with the Indians, not members of any of the states, provided that the legislative right of any state within its own limits be not infringed or violated, establishing and and regulating post offices from one state to another throughout all the United States, and exacting such postage on the papers passing through the same as make the maybe requisite to defray the expenses of the said office, appointing all officers of the land force in the service of the United States, expecting regimental officers, appointing all the officers of the naval forces, and commissioning all officers whatever in the service of the United States, making rules for the government and regulation of said land and naval forces and directing their operations. The United States in Congress, it's super on my room. Assemble shall have authority to appoint a committee to sit in the recess of Congress to be denominated a committee of the states and to consist of one delegate from each state, and to appoint such other committees and civil officers as may be necessary for managing the general affairs of the United States under the direction to appoint one. Jesus Christ, I'm spitting. To appoint one of their number to provide that no person be allowed to serve in the office of president more than 1 year in a term of 3 years, to ascertain the necessary sums of money to be raised for the service of the United States, and to appropriate and apply this the same for defraying the public expenses to borrow money or emit bills on the credit of the United States, transmitting every half year to the respective states an account of the sums of monies so borrowed or emitted, to build and equip a navy, to agree upon the number of land forces, and to make. Nope, that's loud. Respect states an account of some of. Yeah, I already read that. And to make requisition from each state for its quota in proportion to the number of white inhabitants in such state, which requisitions shall be binding, and thereupon the legislator of each state shall appoint the regimental officer to raise the men and clothe, arm, and equip them in a soldier-like manner at the expense of the United States, and the officers and men so clothed, armed, and equipped shall march to the place appointed, and within the time agreed on by the United States and Congress assembled. But if the United States Congress assembled shall consider of circumstances judge proper that any state should not raise men, or should raise a smaller number than its quota, and that any other state shall raise a greater number of men than the quota thereof, Such extra number shall be raised, officer clothed, armed, and equipped in the same manner as the quota of such a state, unless the legislature of such state shall judge that such extra number cannot be safely spared out of the same, in 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 which case they shall raise officer clothed, armed, and equipped as many of such extra number as a judge can be safely spared, and the officers and and men so clothed, armed, and equipped shall march to the place appointed and within the time agreed on by the United States and Congress assembled. Oh, my fucking blank was covering the AC. Oops. Um, the the United States and Congress assembled shall never engage in a war, nor grant letters of mark and reprisal. Yeah, that sounds right. In time of peace, nor enter into any treaties or alliances, nor coin money, nor regulate the value thereof, nor a certain the sums and expenses necessary for the defense and welfare of the United States, or any of them, or nor emit bills, nor borrow money on the credit of the United States, nor appropriate money, nor agree upon the number of vessels of war to be built or purchased, or the number of land or sea forces to be raised, nor appoint a commander-in-chief of the army or navy, unless 9 states assent to the same, or shall question on any other point except for adjourning from day to day be determined, unless by the votes of a majority of the United States and Congress assembled. Damn, my fucking forehead big. Sorry. The Congress of the United States shall have power to adjourn to any time within the year and to any place within the United States. So it's no period of adjournment to be for a longer duration than a span of 6 months, and shall publish the journal of their proceedings monthly, except such parts thereof relating to treaties, alliances, or military operations as in their judgment require secrecy. And the yay, probably that's how it's pronounced, and nays of the delegates of each state on any question shall be entered on the journal when it is desired by any delegate, and the delegates of a state or any of them at his or their request shall be furnished with a transcript of the said journal, except such parts as are above expected, to lay it before the legislators of the several states. Holy crap, that was it. Alright, Article 10. Damn, the song's banging up. I'm good turned up. Sorry, I'm cheating the system. I'm listening to songs in the background. Yeah, sue me. Okay. Alright, Article 10. On the Committee of States or any 9 of them shall be authorized to execute in the recess of Congress such of the powers of Congress as the United States and Congress assembled by the consent of 9 states shall from time to time think expedient to vest them with, provided that no power be delegated to the said committee for the exercise of which, by the Articles of Confederation, the voice of 9 states in the Congress of the United States assembled is requisite. Article 11. Canada acceding to this confederation and joining in the measures of the United States shall be admitted into and entitled to all the advantages of this union, but no other colony shall be admitted into the same unless such admission be agreed to by the United States. Article 12. All 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 bills of credit uh, emitted monies borrowed and debts contracted by or under the authorities of Congress before the assembling of the United States in pursuance of the present of the present Confederation shall be deemed and considered as a charge against the United States for payment and satisfaction whereof the said United States and the public faith are hereby solemnly pledged. Article 13. Every state shall abide by the determinations of the United States and Congress assembled on all questions which by this Confederation are submitted to them, and the articles of this Confederation should be inviolably observed by every state, and the Union shall be perpetual. Nor shall any alteration at any time hereafter be made in any of them, unless such alteration be agreed to in a Congress of the United States and be afterward conferred by the legislators of every state. And 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 whereas it has pleased the great governor of the world to incline the hearts of the legislators we respectfully represent in Congress to approve of and to authorize us to ratify the said Articles of Confederation and and and, and perpetual union. Know ye that we, the undersigned delegates, by virtue of the power and authority to us given for that purpose, do by these presents, whatever the fuck, in the name and in behalf of our respective our respective constituents, fully and entirely ratify and confirm each and every of the said Articles of Confederation and perpetual union, and all in singular on the matters and things therein contained, and we do further solemnly plight and engage the faith of our respective constituents, and that they shall abide by the determinations of the United States Congress assembled on all questions which by the said Confederation are submitted to them. And that the articles thereof shall be inviolably observed by the states we respectively represent, and that the union shall be perpetual. In if witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands in Congress, done at Philadelphia in the States of Pennsylvania, the 9th day of July, in the year of our Lord 1778, and in the third year of the independence of America. Alright, that's it. See ya.